Well, hello. Every gal needs a cowboy hat.
Scanning the room, you look for a familiar face. Everyone is a stranger. Your heart's racing, you feel nauseous. New plan. You meet 4 new people. Okay, 3. 2? You can handle 2. And then you think, I hate this. This just feels so fake. And before you talk to even 1 new person, you're looking for the nearest exit.
Okay. Crazy. Yo, who invited this chick?
My heart races when I walk into a room full of strangers too. Except it's not anxiety, it's excitement. I'm not thinking networking quota. I'm thinking, look at all these stories. And I get so pumped about talking to people that I don't know.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Well, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So excited to be here today. My name is Gail Robertson and my company is Gail Now. I'm a marketing strategist and curiosity is my superpower. And I work with people to show them how to sign up, suit up, and show up. And one of the things I like to always ask is, what's your story? And if you don't know the answer to that or are struggling with it, then please follow along. Follow me on many of my social media platforms and also stay tuned today because we have someone that's going to be helping maybe talk about how you can share your story on a much wider and broader and global stage. Before I get to introducing the guests, I do want a couple of shout outs because yes, I love networking. I love meeting people and curiosity has helped me basically open so many doors, meeting so many people, which then leads to so many opportunities. So a shout out to Gabe Leal. I want to thank him for all of the live streaming work he's doing. And also another shout out to a community that I'm now part of called the Manufacturing Mafia. Thank you to everyone for also helping expand my curiosity and my curious mind when it comes to manufacturing. So let's start with the introduction to our speaker today. Now, Bilyan is someone that I got to know through it was through some networking, ended up taking her TEDx challenge. And right away, I knew this woman is someone that is marching to a different beat, my kind of person. She uses data, she uses keywords, she uses her digital transformation, transferable skills, to rock the TEDx world. So let's now go to her intro reel before we bring her on stage.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from me as well, wherever you are around this beautiful, beautiful world. And thank you, Gail, for having me in the show.
Well, welcome. And we noticed in your speaker reel or the reel that started was that the word formula, which I think is so key because that is kind of your superpower of understanding how to use data. So before we jump into things today, because there's so many questions and we may have to do more than one show, I'm afraid, because I think today will just be the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg. But why don't you maybe give us a bit of an overview of your specialty in TEDx, but maybe kind of highlight some of your key points from your background that make you such a TEDx coach rock star.
My background is 19 years in business transformations. I was a director for quite a lot of different corporates. I've been traveling around the world since many years. And due to pandemic, a lot of manufacturing companies and a lot of companies out there basically close all the budgets for anything which is more than 50 million plus programs. And my program directorship just kind of ended. And before that, I was already a professional speaker. I was already a TEDx speaker. I have been using curiosity a lot, as my curious brain is always love to dig in social media and all kind of data. Indeed. And before I even announce it officially, I start helping a lot of executives to do their TED Talk, to apply for TEDx, to do their TEDx. And then at some point, you know, when you have this kind of conversations and there is a lady speaking with me saying, can you please help me with TEDx? And I was like, well, that's not what exactly I do, you know, because I'm a program director. She was like, yeah, but you help this one and this one, and I want your social media hacks to go in my TEDx. And that's when the boat moment came to my mind. I was like, actually, I love to combine the storytelling with the professional speaking skills, with the digital nerdness me, together with all the social media knowledge what I gained throughout all the years. And I said, well, actually those three combines really well, because I was thinking there is no combination and no connection between those three, but actually TEDx brings that combination. And that's when I created the soon to be a TEDx speaker formula with the 4 modules. And I officially said, this is now what I do. And I rebranded completely. It's very interesting on social media when you go from one industry and doing business transformations to going to I'm a coach now, completely different. That rebranding was very interesting to do it on all the social media. And obviously I lost a lot of followers, but then I gained a lot of followers. So it's always a balance there.
You're right about that. And I have another follow-up question, but I did want to mention we have some great comments happening. And that is a great place to do some networking, to connect up with people that are tuning in today. And please drop in some questions and we'll be able to get to those at some point during the show. But thank you for everyone that's tuning in. I see there's a real mix of people, some of the people from my wider global networking world, and as well as some people from manufacturing. So very exciting to see everybody tune in. One of the things that my background has been, and we'll get to that about transferable skills, but I've been through 5 different careers, and you know, being adaptable to change is so key. And one of the other issues that I really noticed with your training was around looking beyond only developing your talk, developing your content. And again, we'll go back to that word formula. I actually went to something called Heroic Public Speaking, and we talked a lot about, it was a very broad ranging training. And we learned all about developing our content, developing our story, the power of the story. There was some information on data in that, but I really like maybe you to talk about that, maybe jump right into what makes you different when it comes to helping people with their TEDx, because yes, having the story is important, but what's the first thing you would recommend to someone that may be thinking about a TEDx?
Well, majority of the people think like when you start TEDx, you have to actually start applying for TEDx, obviously, and then start writing a script. I take the people a little bit 2 steps back. I always ask the question, why do you do TEDx and what is your goal exactly? And then we create that goal into a very tangible goal. So majority of the people think like, I want to do a TEDx because I want to inspire others, because I want to share my idea, which is worth sharing with the world, and I want just to share my story and my experience. But actually, when we come to business specifically, business people want to do a TEDx because they gain a lot of visibility. Because the moment when you get on TEDx stage, you directly, almost automatically, you become an influencer in your field, in your industry, and people see you as authority. So you gain a lot of credibility. The thing is that not many people know when people say like, oh yeah, you're going to have a lot of visibility on TEDx. What exactly that visibility means is very interesting. Visibility on TEDx doesn't just go on TED.com platform, which has 2.2 billion views. It doesn't go just on YouTube, which is the biggest video platform with 2.3 billion users. It also goes on 50 plus platforms. So it goes on Netflix. Netflix has 207 million users. It goes on Spotify. Spotify has 157 million users. So it goes on 50 plus platforms around the world. And this is huge visibility. So when someone soon tell you like what exactly you mean visibility on TEDx, now you know the figures, and now you actually can understand what exactly your TEDx goal, like not just, okay, I want to have that visibility, but your niche within all these billions of users which are gonna watch your TEDx talk. What exactly is your message when you gain that visibility? Then people also do it because it's a legacy. Think about it. When you want to create a really good legacy and leave legacy behind you, there are two things what you can do. Number one is books, and number two is TEDx, because TEDx is actually the much faster way than writing books and then publishing. And of course, the last reason why people do TEDx is because this is like really amazing digital business card. The moment when you go for networking and you say, I'm a TEDx speaker, well, people directly are going to go on YouTube, they're going to type your name and they're going to watch your TED talk. And that's where actually the whole benefits start coming. And when you sit down to say like, why do I want to do a TEDx? Now you start picking from all these different variations, what exactly you want to achieve with your own TEDx talk, but also make it tangible. If visibility is your goal, then what exactly that means for you? You want to gain 100,000 views on your TED talk, or you want to specifically break in a niche where you have never been? Like depending, put in the questions below, what is your industry? I can totally give you different tips for your specific industry, but every single industry at the moment, and that's something what I've seen as a huge difference between beginning of 2021 and end of 2021. At the beginning, every fifth TED speaker was actually a business person, because now they realize that the TEDx is a way to a fast ticket, basically, to your audience, to your target clients. That was beginning of the year. Now what I see is that every third speaker is a business person. So this is a huge difference going on right now. And obviously next year, the business people are going to jump more and more on TEDx.
You know, one of the things that, and you have a challenge, I believe, coming up next week. We'll talk about that too. One of the things when I took your challenge that stood out from anyone else I've heard speak about speaking and keynote talks and things is that your brilliance around data and all of the stats that you're able to bring to people you work with. You know, I'm someone that comes more from the creative side. My background, you know, I call myself a recovering journalist. So that's why part of the fascination with curiosity is that I love learning. And I have learned, though, over time as well, the value of using data, using analytics, and really doing that deep dive. So that is one thing for anyone listening today that wants to, you know, just dip their toe in the water. I strongly recommend they take your challenge. It will probably change. I mean, even if you decide not to do a TEDx, it will help you in so many other areas of life. So I did want to say that to you, that's helped me thinking about, you know, before. You don't want to necessarily just develop your content around keywords, but it certainly helps to know what keywords, and because if you're going to invest this time and energy into doing TEDx, you might as well make it work for you. So can you comment on that, about maybe a little bit more about, you know, doing some of that keyword research, some of that research in advance? Because we have some people I know that are also coming from manufacturing. So maybe you can talk about that. Are there a lot of manufacturing TEDx talks right now?
That's an interesting question, because I watch a lot of TED Talks. Pretty much every day I watch a lot of TED Talks. And I can tell you right now that there is a huge hunger on TED stage for manufacturers. So you're going to see a lot of talks which are around product management, about product engineering, but specifically on manufacturing, there is no TED Talk at the moment. So if you are in the manufacturing right now, that's your chance right now to jump on and do any kind of topic which is around what you do, because whatever you say on stage will be new. It will be not never brought to a broad audience, and it will really position you on a really high level. Because think about it, if you're the first one, obviously you're gonna be the guru, right? If there's no one else out there. When it comes to keywords, it's very interesting. When I work with clients and I read the script, I already can spot the different keywords, and that's something what I was teaching you during the TEDx challenge, and what I'm going to do next week as well, is that you have to pick your message out, and you need to create it as a key phrase. Your key phrase is basically a very short 5 to 7 words, a very spot on, very powerful sentence. This is your message. This is your wisdom. What at the end of the day, when you think about what do you want the audience to remember out of your talk, or how you want the people to associate you with something, this is your key phrase. And the statistics shows that, and I love statistics, as you can say, but statistics shows that people don't remember titles of videos. People were not going to remember your name. That is a fact, okay? They're going to remember your topic. They're going to remember your stories and the way how you make them feel. That's great. But that's not going to help you after this to find that specific talk. Because if you go on Google and say, oh, I want to find this TED Talks where it was the beautiful ginger woman who made me feel amazing. Well, Google is going to be like, great, there's too many, answers. But when you put a key phrase in your TED Talk and it's short, snappy, and you repeat it a few times, this is a neuroscience now law of repetition. This is the key phrase what people are going to remember out of your TED Talk. And when they're going to go and try to find your TED Talk, obviously title and name, they're going to disappear. But they're going to remember your key phrase. And this is what Google is going to pick up from YouTube, because this is one company, as you know. YouTube is going to pick it up from the audio, from the video as well. So I'm not going to go into details, but there's artificial intelligence, machine learning language behind YouTube engine. And the engine picks your keywords, what you're saying throughout your speech, right? And if you didn't repeat these keywords over and over, YouTube are not going to make it as, oh yeah, this is a keyword. It's not going to understand that this is a keyword for you. So my job as a coach is to spot all these keywords and repeat them throughout your speech. So YouTube engine will be like, this is a keyword. I know that. So when people later on type for manufacturing and production lanes, or like specifically manufacturing for foods or manufacturing for building construction, totally making it up here because there's so many different manufacturings, they're going to pick those keywords out of your video and it's going to show it back to whoever is searching by those keywords. So this is the beauty about data, and this is also the beauty about social media, because the way how, and don't take me wrong, AI is not as clever as we think, but it's still clever enough to pick those keywords and bring it back as the answer. And the whole reason why we use hashtags and we use all these keywords is so after this, the answer of the questions of the people searching by your key phrase will be like, this is the TED Talk which is matching all these keywords. This is the TED Talk matching the key phrase. That is the what makes me different from the rest of the standard usual TED coaching and training.
Well, I will say this, Bilyan. I mean, as I said, I was a reporter for over a decade. And one of the things that, as a reporter, you're trying to do is you pick up on things. There's like, what's the story? What makes this interesting? And definitely the one thing that stood out about you was your use of data keywords. And I have not seen that happen before. I've done a lot of reading and research around, keynote speeches, doing talks, even doing TEDx, but most of the focus has been on only the story. And I'm someone who definitely wants to help people, pull out that story. But what's really fascinating is the ability to pull out your story and also pull out those keywords. And I know we agree on this, because I often say, if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to document it, post about it, share it, it didn't happen. So many people, and you're gonna blow us all away, I know, with another stat talking about a lot of people put so much time and effort into creating their TEDx, coming up with it, developing it, practicing, and then tell us about the stats around what most people maybe do wrong with their TEDx.
Yeah, well, let me give you the usual statistics. It's 75% of all the TEDx speakers which goes on stage. And these statistics are from the last 2 years, by the way. 75% of all TED Talks has anything between 120 to 380 views. That's it. So this basically means that they did the TED Talk, although they wanted to share their idea with the world. Now the world is 380 people maximum. They share it with their colleagues, their friends, with family members. They got to 380 people maximum on this 75%, and that's it. Everything after this died. With the moment when you start plugging all these keywords, what I was talking about, and you start using the neuroscience law of repetition, that percentage now is completely different. So the lowest, for example, one of the people I help only with plugging 7 YouTube hacks in his talk, because we didn't work together to do storytelling and everything. But I only plugged the title, the hashtags, the tags, and all the different keywords in his YouTube description. He got to just above 2,000 views, right? And then that was interesting, because I was helping the whole the TEDx organizer and all the 8 speakers in that day. And the TEDx organizer called me and said, but why he has only 2,000 views? And I said, listen, 2,000 views is still really good compared to 120 to 380 views. And he was like, oh, I didn't actually know that, it's that is, the usual. Mm-hmm. And I said, the moment when your TED Talk is out and it's published on YouTube, the first 24 hours and the first 48 hours are super, super crucial. You don't just put it out and ask your friends and colleagues and family. You literally blast the whole list of everyone you know. You blast all the social media platforms and you shout out to the roof that you now have your TED Talk, which is published. That in the first 48 hours gives you as many views as possible, because only when you reach 1,000 views in the first 24 hours, then the engine picks up those keywords what I plugged for you to tag basically your video and to tag your target audience. Only then it's picked up and start going the snowball effect, basically, to show it to complete strangers who never heard your name, never seen, anything from you. Then they start coming to YouTube. YouTube bring it on the right side where it says suggested for your videos. This is how it works. The YouTube brings your TEDx talk on that list, basically. And that's where you've got the chance people to click on your TED talk and watch it. And when I explained all that, the TEDx organizer was like, okay, so then in this case, this is really good result. And I said, you cannot compare a TEDx speaker with the rest of the TEDx speakers. They're different categories, they're different topics, mm-hmm. They're very different personalities. They have completely different stories. Even within the same category, health, for example, if I take that specific TEDx day, an event, in the health, there were so different topics that it's unbelievable. Like even Gail, if we put all the manufacturers you work with on one stage on one day, I absolutely truly believe that every single talk will be so unique, and they're not going to talk and give the same message out, because every single person is completely different, right? Mm-hmm. And it's very wrong to compare one TED talk with the other TED talks. for example, the quickest results I had with those 7 TED Talk hacks is that they had just above 200,000 views in the first month. And right now is the same person, pretty much the same topic, which already been on stage, and she will be published very soon. This is the way how you can roughly compare eventually with and without 7 hacks for YouTube. That is the only comparison you can do. But just don't go in the route as of like, why my talk has less views. My own talk has 45,000 views. My clients has 200,000 views, and I would never compare mine one with them, because it's just not comparable. It's different categories.
That's really interesting, because I've had talks recently too with clients looking at, various social media platforms. And, it comes down to, yes, follower count, all of those vanity metrics are important up to a point, but it really comes down to what is your niche? Who do you want to talk to? Because if you could have 100,000 followers, but if most of them aren't really going to be engaging with you or caring about what you're doing, it's not as important as having a smaller group of people. And, when it comes to social, I dabble in a few different platforms, and one that I've just got into more recently is TikTok. And I started going down the road of, I'm not having enough followers. But here's the thing, I am learning so much, and it's taken me down a path of really looking at how different platforms perform differently. I'm really looking now at, okay, what posts that I do on TikTok? How does that differentiate from a previous one? And I can't compare myself, because some people have like a whole bunch of followers, but they're just doing it for fun. They're doing it as, lip syncs, and they've also were on the platform historically. So there's a lot of pieces to a puzzle. And what is most fascinating with the work you're doing around TEDx is those pieces of the puzzle, is making sure that you understand. And it's not going to be easy. So let's go to, okay, someone takes a challenge, they want to work with you, and, let's talk about the type of person who's probably going to be successful and actually get a TEDx talk done. What is it that you want to say? Because I'm sure there's people going, oh yeah, like maybe this will be easy. Tell me about what's next.
What's next is to have a very clear idea what is your topic, and then I can help you with what exactly is your message. I have literally a questionnaire to ask, and Gail knows that I've got templates for everything. I just love automating as much as I can. But throughout questions, I can get out what is your message to the world, and then turn that message into key phrase, what we were discussing. But of course, from that goal, the TEDx goal, what I was mentioning, that drives everything else. It drives the language, what you're going to use. That language also comes from who is your audience. You have to be very clear of your target audience. Think about, it's exactly the same on social media. And you mentioned TikTok, which is great. Everything is storytelling. Absolutely, yes. But the language of the way how you tell your story comes from your goal and from your target audience, right? This is basically what we start with the TEDx challenge, and then we keep offline from the challenge. But always think of, start from the goal, and then start from who is your audience, and then keep going with what is the story. Because if your goal is one thing, then you might decide that 3 different stories are best proof that what you want to achieve is gonna get you there very quickly. But if it's completely different goal, that is completely different. Then the language in the storytelling, if your audience is if I use manufacturing, if your audience is executives and clients, what you constantly work with are executives, then you're going to tell the same story in one type of language. But if your audience is in the manufacturing, but they're the people who are literally on the production floor all the time, your language, the same story, but your language is going to be different, because you have to make your story very connected to the people you're talking. You have to use their language, right? Same story, just different language. So think about this, and yeah, you're welcome to come to the challenge.
Well, storytelling, yes, is so key, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. I do want to mention a few people that have commented. John Bilyan, I probably mispronounced your name, John. I'm going to call John, as I know through my manufacturing world. And so, John, I think we can talk about that and really, dig deep into, what is your story, and what is your goal that you want to get from doing anything, whether coming on this show or coming on any show, and doing a TEDx as well. Also, Will commented earlier, and Will is someone I know through my manufacturing travels. Yeah, crazy. Can't believe there isn't much out there now for manufacturers. I would say that's probably, for me, the more that I go down, sometimes I call it rabbit holes. I have to pull myself back out. But the more that I'm researching into all aspects of social media, what I find fascinating is that every platform has value. And it just depends on what is your goal, and then look at the stats of who's on there, and then how do you want to use it. So for me, learning about TEDx has really been like, yeah, you're right. Because, a lot of times, again, the focus is on the story only, but you also need to look at connecting some of those dots. So let's go to, I want to just briefly, because I know we're going to soon start to wrap up, but there's so much information here, but can you maybe highlight some of your transferable skills? Like, is there one or two transferable skills that you would say you use now as a TEDx coach from your background too?
I always use data first, because that is what drives everything else. Then the second skill what I highly use is storytelling and public speaking. When you stand on stage, you've got only 2 meters diameter red carpet. And what I ask people is to put a sellotape on the floor in their house. And I've got a client, by the way, she came to me and she said, yesterday, my husband asked me, are we going to remove that sellotape because it has been there for 2 months? And she said, when I hoover so gently and nicely around the sellotape so I don't remove it. And I said, well, you can remove it, absolutely. She said, no, this is a really sweet memory from the course. And I was like, that's really nice, but let's just, keep going. Life is going. So going back to skills, when you stand on stage, you have to feel really in your power. So every single gesture, what you use, the way how you move with purpose. This is not a ping pong game to constantly people like having dizziness when they watch you, and you don't have that much room anyway. So you're not allowed to move out of this red dot, and that, if you didn't practice correctly, and that's what I give as practice hacks, you're going to stand on stage, you'll be like, oh my God, I can't do 5 steps what I usually do on stage, right? And I can't do 3 steps on the left because that dot is bloody too small, right? So everything which is public speaking specifically for TEDx is very niche for TEDx, as to prepare you what exactly is gonna happen. I also use a lot of I'm so far from being a designer, but I'll give you an example. I have 15 questions for the TEDx organizers. And one of them is, what is the color of the background? Because if right now I'm wearing something white and the wall behind me is white, obviously I'm going to blend, right? Majority of the people, and you know that on TEDx is usually like a very dim light, like black background. Then people wear black dresses or a black suit, and then it's like a head and hands walking around, right? And that on camera looks just silly, like you completely blended, it disappeared on the camera. And it's not just about public speaking skills, what you need to have, but also how to stand out visually. I love that you're all about like stand up, suit up, speak up, right? But you have to also visually do that, not just like with your words. So public speaking skills, the data skills, and everything which is social media as well. As social media is huge. If you don't have a social media strategy for your TEDx talk, it's gonna be failing most probably, right? It's so important to have an action plan which gives you like, okay, what do I do the day before my TEDx? What do I do on the day of my TEDx? What do I do the day after my TEDx? Then what I do on the day of publishing my TEDx, the first 24 hours, the first 48 hours, the first week after it has been published, and in the first month after it has been published. Your TEDx journey doesn't finish, and I want you to remember this today. If you don't remember anything else, just please remember this today. Your TEDx journey is not going to finish when you stand on stage and you're done with your TED Talk. Your journey is going to finish pretty much either a month after it has been published on all the platforms. And John, by the way, don't be scared to be on 50 plus platforms, please. I didn't say it out loud because I want to scare all of you. I said it because I want you to be aware what exactly is the power of TEDx. This is the power of TEDx. So yes, your journey is going to finish a month after your TED Talk has been published, and then you need to keep regularly posting about TEDx so you can keep that engine going and work for you and get you like 2,000-3,000 views per day. This is the goal, basically, the ultimate goal.
And, you know, one of the things I'm going to add to what I see as one of your great skills that comes out is, you know, those details, like asking those questions, because, you know, never assume. And really, that is so key that, yeah, if you show up with the wrong outfit against the background, it's sometimes those little details seem like, oh, you know, not that important, but they are crucial. And we have Will saying you have to have a social strategy for your TEDx, like duh. So obviously, but probably a step skipped by many. Yes, Will, that is so key. And I think it also applies to, and Will does great videos. So anybody go check, follow him. If you're a manufacturer, want to learn, I mean, Will, there's a few people on the chat today. I say everybody should follow one another because I see some names on here. Tim, I think you should definitely be thinking about doing a TEDx talk. You know, the idea of also repurposing content, and it's the same thing. And I'm like that. I have YouTube videos. I've done lots of, you know, shows. I have a whole history that I am not, you know, repurposing nearly enough. So you have inspired me for sure. Yes, John, the encouragement. Bilyan is also a great encourager. She is very generous with her time and knowledge. So thank you, Bilyan. And one of the other things I know is also, I believe this is a great skill of yours. And it's one that I think we all have, but we don't exercise it enough. And that is our curious brain. And I think you are someone. So I'm going to combine kind of the last two questions. I was going to say is, you know, what's been something that has, you know, where have you utilized curiosity, but also how do you exercise your curious brain? What are the things to help you develop and continue to develop curiosity?
I'm going to answer this question. I want to give a few more tips. So the way how I totally constantly train my brain is through digging on all the different social medias and getting the different keywords, because this is nowadays, this is how nowadays every single social media is based on keywords, because they're tagged and they're plugged to your video posts, poll, anything what you're posting, and that's how people find you. So the more variety you use on your social media, regardless if it's YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, any of those, and especially Instagram, the more varieties of hashtags you use, the more audience you're going to cover, basically. So always think of one hashtag which is like completely very broad, completely outside of what you're saying on your post or video, but it's still related to your topic, if it makes sense. But I'll tell you also, if I may, how you create curiosity around TEDx is very interesting. The rule on TEDx is that you can only use excerpts of 30 seconds. That's it. If you use more than 30 seconds, the headquarter has the full right to remove you from, remove your TED Talk from the list, and basically you're going to completely disappear as a TEDx speaker, right? So the way and this works perfectly well, because what you do is the moment when your talk is published, you pick the 30 seconds maximum of different parts of your TED Talk. And when you publish it on LinkedIn, for example, or any kind of social media, this 30 seconds is enough to create a lot of curiosity. Then obviously the text, the copy in your post together with the video creates even more curiosity. Then the hashtag drives the audience towards this post. And when people watch a 30 seconds, trust me, we humans don't like unfinished things, okay? The moment when they watch 30 seconds, they will go and they're gonna watch the whole TED Talk. That's how you drive in TEDx. That's how curiosity works. 30 seconds video maximum, you can do 20 seconds as well. And that drives the traffic towards your TED video.
That is great. And there is someone that I met through my heroic public speaking journey, and I follow Andrew Davis talks about something called the curiosity gap. And that is exactly a perfect example. And, you know, often when we're posting things, it's a good tip to think about posting something that gets people to say, tell me more, lean in. And this is, you know, again, with my background in journalism, that was one thing. Someone would say something and I lean in and say, tell me more about that. Can you expand on that? And sometimes you don't have to have, you know, all of the questions at hand, because people will usually, once you start pulling that information out, they will share their story. So, wow. Bilyan, this has been amazing. There are so many other tips you could give. And now your challenge, do you want to talk a bit about that and where that stands so people know?
The challenge is very easy. 3 assessments. It's 4 days. On day 1, the assessment is to apply to 10 different TED organizers. So I do a training on every day. That's given. But the training on that day is how to set yourself for success. So I walk you through what people do as mistakes when they apply, because majority of the people apply, they do a lot of mistakes. I go through each of those mistakes basically, and I teach you how to apply successfully. So when you apply to 10 different TEDx organizers in the location, geographical location, what you like, you've got a huge chance to be approved. Now, something I want to mention right now, and mentors are constantly telling me to stop telling people, and I will never stop telling this. The way how TEDx works to be successful is plus 3 months, which means that when you apply right now, which is mid-November, you're going to apply for events which are 3 months from now. So this is November, December, January, February. You're going to apply for events which are from mid-February onwards. Otherwise, you set yourself for failure. And that is just a waste of time, completely a waste of effort, right? Day 2 is all about creating a very powerful title. The aim of a title, TED title, is to drive people curiosity to click on the video and watch it. This is the aim of your title. It has to be short, powerful, and there's certain rules. Day 3 assessment is to create that key phrase, that powerful key phrase I've been saying, which has a lot of keywords inside. And then on day 4, we check all the results from the previous day, obviously, and then I give you a full overview of a very successful TEDx journey, because I truly believe that when you know step by step what's going to happen, then you're a lot more prepared. And I don't do this because I want to gain clients. Obviously, I do want to gain clients. But when my clients are truly mentally prepared that this is a journey, they're going to go through certain steps, and these are the steps I'm showing on day 4, then I know that now they're on board. Like I'm not gonna, create castles non-existing in their mind. I'm creating a very thoughtful, successful process, and that's how I know that when people come to me, they're fully engaged. They know what they're stepping into. That's why the challenge is 4 days, but it's kind of like you can dip your toe in the TEDx waters, decide for yourself, do you want to do it or not? Then you can plan ahead. When do you want to do the TEDx? Again, plus 3 months minimum. And then you can totally do it, right?
And I want to add that this challenge that you're doing is no charge. This challenge is free, right? You offer this free to
I can make it non-free for everyone who is here totally, but you need to text me because I start asking for £8, which is about $9 a fee, which is literally, I noticed that I've been doing it for free and people sign up, they never show up. Like the challenge what you came, there were about 30 people who were supposed to came. I don't mind. I mean, all of us are busy. But then I need like even a coffee cost.
Yeah. You know what? I think, Bilyana, that is, believe me, I have been through it. I know Ingrid and I went through it, and it's, yes, you could easily charge. And one of the things that that is really amazing is that, yes, I think that's very generous of you to offer anyone here today. So I would say, even say if they get in touch with you by the end of the day, by midnight tonight, they have to contact you.
You text me on LinkedIn and put that you are on Gail now, and I will send you. I will create the code tonight, and I will send you the link directly with the code, and that's gonna put you through for free.
Yeah, and Amy Knightley, I have talked to Amy. Amy knows my thoughts on. I mean, we've connected. As I said, a lot of the people that I see names on here that are showing up in the comments. Thank you to everyone that's commenting, because I know a lot of you have stories. In fact, well, we all have a story to share. I don't know of anybody that I've ever met in my years as a reporter. Often people would say to me, like, I don't know why you're interviewing me. I don't have much to say. And then bam, and all of these stories to this day that stand out for me are the ones of regular people that actually thought, usually it's like people that think they don't have a story, the people that don't think they're good salespeople, that they're sales, usually are the best at that. So I highly recommend everybody to jump in on this challenge, take up Bilyan on her offer. And then if you want to go to the next level, that's where having a coach comes in. And I think that's really, you're doing it perfectly in terms of, giving everybody some information, but then, it comes to when, as they say, when the rubber hits the ground, so to speak, you really have to put the work in and the effort. So thank you so much for today. We'll be having you back next year to talk more about the journey, the curiosity journey, how we can develop our curious brains. And for everybody here today, really think about what is your story. And, when you're using curiosity, when you're digging deep, you can find that there are many stories. And yes, in manufacturing, and some of the people here today I know that, but sometimes working with some clients, I've seen this, that the people think, well, it's just manufacturing, and never put just in front of anything that you're doing. Always own it, because as I said, curiosity is my superpower, and I want people to sign up, suit up, and then show up, because that's where you can make change in the world, where you can make change in your workplace, you can make change in sales, and you can also stand on that TEDx stage and show up for the world too. So that is the most exciting part. So thank you, Bilyana. You were amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
This girl is on fire. Woo! And I shared that is also, that's my song to hit the stage with. But I shared my song with you to introduce you today.
Voice there.
Because I think that when we say we're on fire, that's when we can make change in the world. And I'm excited for where 2022 and beyond will take us. And I know we're going to be staying in touch and working on how to sign up, suit up, and show up. Thank you, Bilyana.
Thank you.
Okay,
thank you, Gail.
We're going to put some information in the comments, and I know you'll probably be dropping some comments in there, and I know you're available if people reach out to you. Keeping in mind that you are 6 hours ahead. It's now it's 10 to 1 here Eastern Standard Time. What time is it for you?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. And right now you're in Bulgaria, right?
I'm physically in East Europe, in Bulgaria, but I work in London time, so let's just say it's 6 p.m. Yeah.
6. Okay. And you are definitely a global, you have traveled the world. That'll be a story for another day. I want to talk about travel stories, because that is where is exciting too. So thank you for today. Very excited to have you here. And everybody, thanks for everybody commenting today. I've seen so many people, Amy, Trish, John, Will, Russ. I know I'm going to forget someone. I feel like the polka dot door thing. But thank you to everyone for commenting. Please connect on LinkedIn. And you can follow me on just about every platform. So, and you can also find Bilyan through, she will drop probably some of her, where you can reach her at and follow her. Okay. You're going to go back to the green room. Enjoy. I'll meet you back there in just a few minutes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bilyan. Wow. Well, thank you everyone again for tuning in today. This was, as I said, one of the things that's most exciting about the work I do around curiosity and really exercising our curious brains is that, well, we get to meet amazing people. I love networking. I love networking in person, but I also have found the value of networking virtually and reaching out to people, joining in various webinars, joining in networking groups and connecting with people. And that's how I came across Bilyan. And there's so many opportunities for all of us, whether we're working in sales, whatever area, recruiting, for HR people, there's so many places that we can tap into virtually. And today was all about, TEDx and how to use TEDx, but not just develop your TEDx talk, but also use data analytics, keywords to make sure that you're getting the best value out of your TEDx talk. Thanks again, everyone. You can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter as Gail now. Twitter is probably one of my favorite platforms. To me, it's like breathing. I use it a fair bit. I also am on Instagram. Not as I've actually been shifted a bit from Instagram. I have been dabbling on TikTok. So you can pretty well find me everywhere as Gail now. And I'm exploring the world of TikTok, that's a fascinating. So there'll be another upcoming show about that as well. So stay tuned. Please follow me on all of the platforms and reach out if you have any questions. And if you want to know how to explore what your story is, please reach out and how you can use that to not only improve personally and professionally, but how you can also change the world. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. We're going to now go over and we're going to replay my opening video, which was courtesy of my son who helped put this together, using a few pieces of my networking puzzle to show a little bit about how I love to have fun. I love to even poke fun at myself sometimes. And you know what? If we're going to be working for a good chunk of our lives, let's have some fun. Here we go. Well, hello. Every gal needs a cowboy hat.
Scanning the room, you look for a familiar face. Everyone is a stranger. Your heart's racing, you feel nauseous. New plan. You meet 4 new people. Okay, 3. 2, you can handle 2, and then you think, I hate this. This just feels so fake. And before you talk to even 1 new person, you're looking for the nearest exit.
Okay. Crazy. Yo, who invited this chick?
My heart races when I walk into a room full of strangers too. Except it's not anxiety, it's excitement. I'm not thinking networking quota. I'm thinking, look at all these stories. And I get so pumped about talking to people that I don't know.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!